Welcome back to Avalon Robotics RobotStudio tutorial series. Today we're going to be going over just menu structures, shortcuts, how to create some shortcuts, and keyboard shortcuts. So really important things that I think helps you become a really good robot programmer. And I hope you enjoy it today. So let's jump in and just get right to it. So here you have our RobotStudio station that we've been working in. We have the cart, we have the 4 robot targets. I'm not even going to do anything with that today. I'm just going to go over the layout and again, some things just to help you become quicker and more efficient at using RobotStudio. So in no specific order, I'm just going to go through it and just talk through all the things that I use all the time. So of course, all of these filters up here, super important to get familiar with those. I went over them a little bit in I think the first tutorial, but really need to get used to using all of these. Like you can use, these to zoom into the robot or the origin of the station or the objects in which you're using, but snapping, these are important filters as far as surfaces and parts and bodies and components and mechanisms, all of these things, and what you can snap to. So I use this all the time. So some really important things that I think that helps you become very efficient is being able to use keyboard shortcuts. So keyboard shortcuts allow us to do a lot of different things. So without moving around in the station here, I can show you that I have keyboard shortcuts for top, left, right, or front, all the different views of the station that I can move the robot to, or sorry, the viewer in the different, views. But that's controlled by the keyboard shortcut, and what I have set up is Control Shift, T does the top, D, F, G, H, and B. So those are all personalized keyboard shortcuts that I have. I have keyboard shortcuts that allow me to show and hide different things. Shift Control A, I can come in and I can show and I can hide just by doing Control Shift A. If you want to see what the shortcut is, you can come in and you can see it. They actually display what that keyboard shortcut is right next to the command. So visible is Control Shift A, disconnect library is Control D. How you set those up. If you come up into the very top menu here in this little arrow pointing down, you can come down into Customize Commands. And in the Customize Commands, this part is amazing to me in RobotStudio. They let you in on all the different commands inside RobotStudio. So this right here is Customize Commands and Quick Access Toolbar. This toolbar up here on the top is a Quick Access Toolbar. I have set up on mine, by default it has save, undo, redo tags. I have set up on mine play, which is a simulation, stop the simulation, record the graphics, stop recording, and to do a screenshot. And super easy to be able to set those up. You can just come into here and you can, if I want to teach a target and I want to add that to my quick access toolbar, teach target, add, there it is. It's right there. It just added teach target up here. I don't know why you would want teach target up there, but maybe you do. But let's go down through and let's look at it. So teach target. Down here, we have our keyboard shortcut to it. I have created Control R to be teaching robot targets. And I have a ton of keyboard shortcuts. So in order to be able to add or get to all the different commands, they have, show commands from, and these are the menus. So home, modeling, simulation, all of those. They have these, or you can come down to other commands and it lists every command that they have in RobotStudio that you can come in and you can add shortcuts to. So I think it's called view, but we can go down here and let's see if I can find the yeah, so like view center. Let's see here, what's some of the other ones that I have. Let's see here. Oh, I didn't even see that. Use gizmo. You could create a keyboard shortcut for that. And all you do to create a keyboard shortcut would be to put the cursor down into here, and then you could just do like a Control G, right? And if it's already being used, it's going to say browse for geometry. That's where it's currently being used, so you can't actually add it. So I'd have to go in and I'd have to go look for browse for geometry. Oh, there it was. I just saw it, browse for geometry. And I'd have to come into here, remove that, and then I can come back down to whatever it was. I forget what we were doing, show gizmo or use gizmo. And we could add it to that. So let's see here. What were we doing? Use gizmo. And I can come down in and I can do Control G now, and I could add it to that. And now Control G allows me to have the command use gizmo. I'm going to remove that. Once you go through and set up all of your different customized commands, and I'm always adding to them and modifying them as I get better and better at using RobotStudio. But it's very good to be able to come in and export. So exporting your RobotStudio shortcuts allows you to import them into another version of RobotStudio or share it with other people. As you can see, I already have mine down here, Shane's commands, that I use to make sure that I have actually saved all those keyboard shortcut commands. I spent a little bit of time talking about this because I think that this is one of the most important things that you can do, that you get really good at being able to use keyboard shortcuts to be able to do all kinds of different commands in RobotStudio and even in the Rapid editor, right? So if I come down into Rapid, there's a whole bunch of commands inside here that I think are, super important, like commenting and uncommenting. Control-Shift-E, Control-Shift-W. Use that all the time to be able to comment out a block of code. Super quick, super easy. I already went over the apply. My apply is, by default, it's Control-Shift-S, so they don't actually allow you to change it there. That's going to always be there. Yeah, so really important to be able to do that. So that is filters here. That's the quick access toolbar up here in keyboard shortcut commands. Other things, obviously, you can show and hide all this different stuff here. I do find every once in a while the default layout, move screens. The default layout actually just puts it back into a default layout if somehow I messed up. But I have used that actually more than I'd like to admit, but I have used that quite a bit. You can save the layout. You have different windows. This is just super powerful to get used to using all of this. I will also say that if you go to File and Options, it brings up the Options window, and inside this Options window are all the different things that you can adjust for the base RobotStudio application. So like the appearance, and you can go through each one of these licensing units. So some of the things that I have set up and that I know that I've changed is like autosave. I have it maximum of 20-minute interval here. where the base files are screenshot and screen recorder, where you actually save each one of those, and the frame rate and all this. So very useful, very helpful, being able to modify all of that. And I think some of the things that maybe as a new user you want to get used to, behavior. You can modify how your mouse actually behaves. So what is the zoom? What is the rotate? Rotate is, on mine is the middle mouse button. Panning is control middle. You can adjust all of this to be able to make it customized to your own preferences. So it's good to get into this. It's good to be able to look at it. I do use the simulation clock one quite a bit because I will have it run as fast as possible. And that just allows me in very large simulations to be able to quickly analyze and troubleshoot the simulation. If I want it back to, real world velocities and speeds, just unclick the as fast as possible. So that's an important one to get used to. Again, file, you can come into the file and options to be able to change the base options of RobotStudio. I think I talked a little bit about it before, but the home and modeling tab are station level tabs. The simulation is in between because you're going to be running the simulation in the station, but you're also running the virtual controller. The controller and Rapid are very specific to the virtual controller. So that's pretty brief introduction. Oh, one more thing. If you right click and go to settings, you can change a few different things here that are useful. Projection, perspective. So if I actually look at the side of this thing, you can see that the perspective is not orthogonal. It's actually the perspective, or orthographic is what they call it. So orthographic is looking at it very straight on. I switch between those two constantly. Representation is always nice. You can do, they have really good settings in here to do different representations, so you can see it in different ways. I usually like just using the surface one. But if I'm doing a simulation and I'm recording it because I want to show a customer or show somebody else, I will come in and turn off the world coordinates, and also I can shut off the buttons, because if I record the graphics area, I want it to be very clean. So I turn those on and off all the time. And so get used to using that. If you want to change backgrounds, all of this stuff, very easy to get to. So I think I'm going to stop there. Lots of different things that we'll continue to go over and get used to using here. But I wanted to take a minute and go over, menus, keyboard shortcuts, and things that will help you be more efficient at being able to use RobotStudio. So I hope you liked that. I hope that was useful. Please, if you have any comments, let me know. And as always, please like and subscribe to the channel so you can be updated on when we post more tutorials.